Disc golfers, welcome back to Caddy Chat with Jake and Josh. Episode 10, Josh.
Yeah. Who'd have thunk it?
We're still rolling. We're happy you guys are joining us. What is on the show today?
Today we're going to talk about a couple of sponsorship moves. Not a lot happened this week in regard to quantity, but maybe quality-wise, there's a couple of things to talk about. We're going to continue with our tourney talk and talk about the day of the event. Talked about the morning of last week, and now we're going to get into the rest of the day. What does the rest of the day look like? We have a disc of the month we're going to discuss this week, as well as a big sponsorship announcement from Reed Friskira. He's going to be joining us on the Freshwood phone line to talk about his sponsorship decision for 2023. So I'm excited about that. I can't wait to find out what's happening there. And then I think we're going to play another logo game, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
I'm kind of excited about that one.
Drew up a whole nother 10 logos for you, Josh. See if you can beat your score last time. What did you get, 7?
I don't remember.
Like that?
I just remember getting roasted in the comments.
Yeah, you did.
But I thought I did pretty well.
I thought you did okay, too.
So I didn't let it bother me at all.
So we'll see if you guys can beat Josh again this time when we get there.
Yeah.
That'll wrap up the show. All right, so sponsorship news. The big one this week, obviously everybody's aware of it. Simon Lizotte, jump ship after a decade.
Yeah, Crush Boy number 1, leaving Discmania.
So big news there. We won't
Yes.
dive into that too much because, it's been well covered in plenty of places.
Yeah.
But we wanted to speculate a little bit about, what would make someone like that move? What would a contract offer or proposal from a new sponsor look like in order to make a top name in the game who's being treated very, very well at a company that he loves?
Yeah.
What would make him jump?
It's got to be a pretty long contract worth a lot of money. I think it has to be millions, and it's got to be at least 5 years.
So when you talk millions in disc golf, you look at Paul, you look at Ricky.
Yeah.
And those two are the only ones that have hit that number per year.
Per year.
Do you think Simon Lizotte demands the same numbers?
I think he could. The last couple of years, he's been less active and consistent as he was, 3-4 years ago. But that has, there were a lot of factors of that. Just got married, just had a kid. He did have an injury he was dealing with, and so, if he comes back strong, he's a top 5, top 10 player in the world. I think he's worthy of that kind of money. But I was even thinking not even $1 million a year, but even like maybe it was $2 or $3 million for 5 years. But I think it's got to be a 7-figure multi-year deal. But that's pure speculation.
Yeah, I think that's what you would have been looking at based on his entertainment value and online following.
Yeah.
I think that's what you would have been looking at a year ago. But after he goes out and wins 4 pro tours this year.
Did he win 4?
Yeah. I think that number is. I think $1 million a year is very much on the table.
Okay.
But I agree with you. It's a long-term deal, and
It's got to be.
I would say longer than 5 years. I think you're looking at 8 to 10 would be my suspicion.
Okay.
Just because I see it from the standpoint of he's got a company that is going to treat him well for life in Discmania.
Right.
So why would he jump ship? And he didn't burn a bridge, clearly, but that's
a big move.
That's something that could happen by jumping ship. So,
Yep.
He didn't know how they would take it.
And that's why I say it had to have been a really big deal for him to leave Discmania. Because he was, you could talk about the Crush Boys, you could talk about other people that Discmania sponsors, but he was their premier player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he grew up with them.
Yeah.
They became a household name in disc golf because of a lot. Well, mostly in part to Simon Lizotte, to be honest.
Yeah, so one of the things we were talking about, a lot of the rumors and speculation have dealt with the possibility of him going to MVP.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't know if MVP has that kind of money, unless, like I said, James Conrad maybe he made them enough money in the last couple of years that they're able to start dishing out those kind of big contracts. But my first guess would have been Innovar Discraft. Somebody who's got a lot of money to spend on a big name player like that. So that's my guess.
We shall see. I mean, I expect an announcement here pretty quick.
Do you think it'll be in the next week or two?
I do think so, yeah.
Right.
I think his YouTube social media activity has ramped up the last week and a half. He just posted a video earlier this week about obviously leaving Discmania, but also his last quote-unquote round with Discmania discs at Maple Hill. So
okay.
I think we'll see something pretty quick. And then the other big name that we got to see fall here is Anthony Barella. Has not announced anything yet either. Plenty of speculation with him. I still think Discraft for him, but if Simon Lizotte announces first and he's Discraft, then I think my opinion changes. I don't think AB is going to Discraft anymore.
Gotcha. Maybe he'll go to Discmania.
Yeah.
Maybe he's the new Simon.
Maybe he's the new third Crush Boy.
Yeah.
That would be interesting too.
It would be. I hadn't thought of that. I like that. So that's it. That's all we got. Just speculation. But stay tuned. Maybe we can get an exclusive interview with him next week.
We'll see.
We'll see.
No promises.
No promises.
All right. Top 10 list. Last time we did something like this, it went really well. You guys all enjoyed it. We had great feedback. So we want to do something similar again as we look forward into 2023. We do like keeping it semi-local. So we're going to shout out the state of Michigan once more. We're going to go the top 10 players to watch in 2023. That's not just professional. We're talking the entire state of Michigan. There's some amateurs on our list too.
Yeah.
But we won't spoil too much. Josh, who's coming in at number 10?
Number 10 is Zach Sherman. And I've had the pleasure of watching him play a couple of rounds. But he really quickly rose up the leaderboards in 2021 and then took a small step back this past year. But still played really well. He had a little bit of a tough season, a tough start to the season at Ferris State. The DQ situation.
Yeah.
Do you have any details about that? What was the DQ?
Without going into too much
Excuse me.
Too much on that situation, Ferris State team competing for a national championship in the College Disc Golf National Championships last April. There was a situation with one of the players on their team ends up being ineligible, gets reported, and they get disqualified from the tournament after being in position to win.
That's right. They waited till the final round
after a couple of days of competition. So
Yep. But he still managed 3 MPO wins in 2022. So he's no slacker. So to have a good year in 2023, a little less controversy, a little more consistency, and we know he's got what it takes.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of applying that.
Yeah,
and getting it done on the
to
course.
be clear, the controversy was not about Zach. He was not the reason.
He just needs to avoid being around controversy.
Yeah, he just happened to be a part of it, unfortunately, and that's a tough way to start your season.
Sure. Can really get the morale headed in the wrong direction.
It doesn't really launch you forward, especially after a good 2021. So
yeah, but he's a great player. He's someone to watch over the next few years.
I expect big things from him this year.
Me too.
All right, number 9 on the list.
Gavin Cunningham.
So he's an interesting one. He came up through the junior ranks rather quickly. He didn't start competing in sanctioned events until 2020, but shot up very, very quickly. He's after his first full year in MA1 this season. He's already at 959, and 2020 when he first started as a junior, 774 was his rating. That's just 2 years ago.
Almost 200 points.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy improvement. We've seen stuff like that from kids before, but it's nothing to sneeze about by any means.
Yeah.
He came out this year. He got a top 40 at USA DGC and a top 25 at AM Worlds and AM 1. If the career trend continues,
he'll be 1,200 rated by 2025.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. But in all honesty, his trajectory is going incredibly fast.
Yeah.
In an upward direction, and I'd like to see him test himself in MPO this year. I think that'd be the next step in his progression. But he's going to continue to get better, and I think the kid's got some potential.
Okay.
So
keep an eye on him.
Gavin Cunningham, number 9.
And number 8 is Jen Kane. I was excited to see this one. Now Nick and Jen play Leprechaun Hollows League, or at least they have the last 2 years.
Yep.
And watching them progress their first couple of years in disc golf, both of them, has been just a joy to watch. And Jen Kane, so she's got 17 career events. There's only been 4 times that she's been outside of the top 5.
That's a crazy stat.
It really is.
And for those of you listening to us, watching us, and saying, "Oh, they're just giving a local shout out to one of their league members," no.
No, she deserves it.
She's really good, and
Yep.
she is climbing very quickly.
Yeah, she was the Leprechaun Hollows Women's Champ this year. So
We will give her a shout out there.
She crushed the competition there. She placed 9th at the U.S. Women's in FA2, which is huge. That's a big tournament. It's a big top 10 for her. 36 points increased over the last year, so she's rated 809 right now.
And climbing, just
And
like
climbing.
we talked about with Gavin Cunningham. Somebody whose trajectory is going the right direction very quickly.
Yeah, and talking to Nick about that in the past, he said we were joking a little bit about how she's getting so much better over the last year or two, and so is he, but he was pretending he wasn't getting as good as her, and said she puts in the work, and he doesn't.
That's the difference.
So, but he's great as well. I love watching him play. But Jen is definitely someone to watch in the upcoming years. She puts in the work. She does well. She performs well, and she's a great.
She's a good player.
Great player.
Yeah. All right, number 7, Austin Bates. He's been competing in the MPO division as of late. He had 23-point rating increase in the last year. And if you go back 2 years, 55-point rating increase, which is solid. There's plenty of people that have had that type of a jump. But he is, what is he rated on?
994, yeah.
So, when you're talking up in the upper 990s, that rating increase becomes more respectable. So a 23-point increase in 1 year going from the 970 range to the 990 range.
That's a big jump.
That's a bigger jump.
Especially there, because 960, 970 is an easy place to get stuck for multiple years.
Yep. So he's still climbing.
And he's an A-tier marathon
It seems like it.
runner.
I mean, he's challenging himself. So
That wasn't the right phrase, but you know what I mean.
like we said, he climbed 23 points in a range where you can get stuck. But that was all while challenging himself in the MPO field in tough events. So he had 7 A tiers,
Wow.
or higher, and 1 top 10 in those tournaments. So he's not just riding by in local C and B tiers. Is I think the point that's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
He's climbing up the ratings and performing well at bigger events.
Big events.
So number 7, Austin Bates. Who's number 6, Josh?
The Cookie Monster. Andrew Marweed. Keep an eye out for Andrew. Full tour in 22, and he made it to the Tour Championship. Just signed with DGA last year, right? So it was his first year with the discs.
Yeah, so brand new plastic.
And made it to the Tour Championship.
And played well.
He got 7th place at D-Glow. Number 1 putter on tour again. This is 2 out of the last 3 years. He's been number 1 from C1X.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. And he's rated 1,029. And really, he's a fun guy to watch.
Yeah, he's a great player. And I just look at it that he spent all last year becoming more and more comfortable with a new bag. Brand new disc with DGA after coming over from Innova.
Yeah.
And, a whole year under his belt. He's coming into 2023.
Comfortable and ready to go.
Yeah, he's ready to go. I look back at the first chunk of tour events from 2022, and you have to think that there's a little bit of get to know you factor.
Oh yeah.
With the discs. So it'll be very curious. I'm very curious to see the first 2 or 3 events this season what kind of a jump he makes, not necessarily on the leaderboard, but in his own play, compared to the courses, since they're playing similar courses to start the season. So
Yeah.
that'll be key.
Should be fun.
That'll be key to watch for those of you guys actually paying attention to our top 10 list and going to keep an eye on these 10 players. Andrew Marweed comes in at number 6. All right, number 5, Kelson Bloom. He's from north of us, Muskegon, Whitehall area.
Okay.
So I have gotten the pleasure to play with him a couple of times, seen him coming up through the ranks. 73-point rating increase in the last 2 years.
Which is from 850 to 924.
Yeah. So
Ish.
Again, we're talking a big jump.
Yeah.
Compared to what we were talking about with Austin Bates, a little bit lower down the rating
The division.
tier,
Yeah.
but 73 points is a large number.
It is.
And quick improvement for sure. The big thing for him, he rattled off 40 tournaments in 2022.
Wow.
And 11 of them were A tiers. So we talked about Austin Bates again, comparison there, testing himself in bigger events, higher scale events. Kelson's doing the same thing. And his big win came MA2. He won the MOB shootout. That's an A tier over on the east side of Michigan. Respectable win, big field, some tough competitors. So he's shown he can win on a high level. And the thing I really respect about Kelson that really, for me, shows that he deserves to be on this list is, again, he's testing himself. He realized he was at the top of MA2. Even if his rating hasn't quite jumped to MA1 yet, it's going to very soon. And he knows that, and the end of 2022, he tested himself multiple times in MA1, which is really what we like to see.
It's commendable.
9 times he went up to MA1.
I wonder if he did that of his own volition, or he just kept getting called a bagger.
It could be.
That's an inside joke. Sorry.
No, it could be a little bit of both, though. I mean, it's a real thing.
It is.
It's a real thing. But he placed 87th at AM Worlds in MA1. So
nice. In AM1.
Yeah. So he's climbing the leaderboards, and he is 100% somebody to watch in the amateur divisions come 2023.
Nice. I'll be keeping my eye on him.
Good. Continuing up the list, number 4.
Rachel Dupree.
Tell us about Rachel, Josh.
I'll tell you about Rachel. She is the 2022 College Disc Golf All-American at Ferris State. Ferris State, if you're not from Michigan, it's a college kind of in north central Michigan, kind of.
Yeah.
She had a 58-point rating increase in the last year, 95 points in the last 2 years. So she moved in the last 2 years from about 750 to 850. And 60 of that was in the past year. So I hear she's a great golfer. She's one of the better ladies out there in Michigan. Another one to keep your eye on.
And has not tested the professional waters yet. So that'll be a learning curve when she does make that jump. But right now, absolutely dominant in the amateur.
What is the
fields.
FPO rating?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I mean it's the same as MPO.
Is it 970?
No, as far as accepting cash. So
no, okay.
She hasn't accepted.
I just
cash
wondered
yet.
what that rating number was for the FPO, if it's different from MPO.
I don't know. Throw something in the comments to let us know. We should know that number.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, Rachel Dupree, definitely someone to watch. Quickly climbing the leaderboards.
There's a lot of good players at Ferris.
Yes.
They have a great disc golf team. So.
Yes, they do.
So there's probably others there too to keep an eye on that we don't have on our top 10 list.
All right, continuing down, top 3 time. Number 3, we've talked about him multiple times on this show. He's still in high school. Luke Taylor.
Luke Taylor. Yeah, Luke Taylor. He's always been in the last few years above 1,000 rated, but had a 17-point increase this year.
Yeah, big jump.
Which again, if you're already over 1,000, moving up 17 points is not easy work. Takes a lot of good, consistent golf. He had 5 wins out of 24 events in 2022. He was only outside the top 10 5 times,
That is crazy.
which includes an 11th at the Preserve and a 17th at the Butler County Silver Series event.
That's impressive stuff.
That's really impressive. Very consistent.
And again, the big thing, he's still in high school.
Yeah,
So
17 years old.
he's still learning, and to be that consistent, that's the thing for me. Like, to be that consistent and able to perform on that high level and maintain that high of a rating like he has, consistency at that age is crazy impressive.
It is.
And there is no way on planet Earth he doesn't continue to get better in 2023.
Yeah.
I would be utterly shocked if he was rated anything less than the 1019 he is right now, and that he didn't compete to win at 2 or 3 bigger events. Yeah. So Luke Taylor, number 3 on our list, with good reason. Who's number 2?
Number 2 is Stacy Haas, the top FPO player in Michigan. You probably seen, I'm not sure the last time she was on coverage, but you've probably seen her brothers on coverage. DW's on coverage a bit. DW Haas. Stacy is 19, is that correct?
Yeah. Yep. 19 years old.
19 years old. 9 top 25 finishes on tour in 2022. So this isn't just local. This is on tour. She had 9 top 25s. That's great. She just signed a 2-year extension with MVP. She's the champion for the Open at Tallahassee. She won that this year. That was one of her bigger wins.
Yeah, that's the big one.
That's a Silver Series.
That's
a huge win.
Big one.
So very impressive. She had a 20-point increase this year to 932.
She's
only 19.
She's going to be very good.
Yeah.
And like you said, just signed with MVP, re-signed with MVP.
Little extension.
Just joined them last year for the first time in 2022. Okay. So again, just like we talked about with Reed and DGA, learning a whole new bag.
Yeah.
And still performing very well. She won a Silver Series. That's big stuff.
It's interesting. It just dawned on me. You know, James Conrad, when he won Worlds, that was his first year with MVP.
Was it?
Yes.
Or did he sign with MVP after that?
No, because he threw it in with the Envy.
Oh, you're right. He did.
That was his first year with MVP, and he went on to win Worlds.
You were right.
His first year with a new bag. That's impressive.
It's crazy.
So, he's our honorable mention, not from Michigan. Somebody to keep your eye on. No, but Stacy Haas.
Stacy's going to win an even bigger event than the Tallahassee Open Silver Series in the next couple of years. So, anyone outside of Michigan is going to learn Stacy's name very quickly.
Yep. You can take Jacob to the bank on that one.
Absolutely. All right, number 1.
The number 1 player to watch in Michigan.
Drum roll.
Kyle Klein.
And why is Kyle Klein the number 1?
A couple of reasons. But number 1, he's now one half of Discmania's Crush Boys.
He was the 3rd Crush Boy, the kind of forgotten Crush Boy.
Yep, he just got a promotion.
The new and included Crush Boy, and now he's
number 2.
Now he's big time.
Now he's big.
There's a big hole and big shoes to fill at Discmania.
They are big shoes to fill.
And Kyle Klein is next in line to do that.
Yep.
So we want to throw a little bit of pressure on him, yes, but
yeah, come on, Kyle. He can do it.
He's proven he can deal with pressure in the past, and he's a fantastic player.
He is. He's rated number 8 on the tour, I believe.
Yeah.
40K in 22 just in tournament winnings, not counting any contracts or anything else that he did. He was 3rd at the Preserve, 9th at the USDGC. He got an auto berth for the 2nd straight year.
Yeah. Yeah.
He only missed top 25 once in 24 events, and 16 of those were top 10s.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's solid.
I can't say the same for myself.
And you've got to think that 80 to 90% of those events are tour stops. So
yeah,
the fact that he's only missing the top 25 one time on tour. Yowza.
Time. And he's one of the guys. He's 1,039 right now, so there aren't many guys above him in rating.
Nope. And he's still slowly ticking upward every year.
And he's still a young guy.
Yeah. So
I don't think he's reached his prime yet.
Kyle Klein, number 1 on Michigan's top 10 players to watch for 2023 with good reason.
Yeah.
And we're excited to watch him.
And he's not just from Michigan, but he's hyper local.
Yeah, he's from Grand Rapids.
He's from the Grand Rapids area.
Yep.
And he used to play at one of your leagues, didn't he?
Yeah, he started playing disc golf in Holland at the Pawpaw League. And it was a pleasure to have him on our Skins match coverage 2 years ago as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't watched that, go check that out. It's on our channel.
Yeah.
Good kid.
I had him sign an astronaut,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't throw him, and he thought that was kind of funny. And then the next year, I see he's got a signature astronaut. So, I mean, I'm not saying I did that.
Josh Wood, baby.
I'm not saying I did. I'm just saying, what a coincidence. What a
You're making plays on the biggest stage.
What a fun coincidence. No, he's a good kid, and he's got a bright future ahead of him.
All right, transitioning here to tourney talk.
Yes.
Before we attack the Freshwood phone line with Reed. Tourney talk. This episode, we're talking about the event itself.
Yep.
From tee off all the way to, we'll stop before payouts. We'll do payouts and clean up next week. But once we've gone through that player meeting, once that whistle blows or the horn honks or the gunshot goes off to start the tournament, what are we doing?
Taking a nap. No, probably not. Maybe for a minute.
I mean a little bit. Like, to be honest though, if you're not, like, if it's a bigger event, you're directing the tournament, you're not playing.
Probably.
So, it actually is a moment to take a little bit of a deep breath.
At least take a deep breath, yeah. Hydrate. But yeah, aside from that, what are you doing during the first round of play? I'm going to assume it's a 2-round tournament.
Yeah.
What are you doing during the first round?
So I'm just chilling at Tournament Central. So wherever the check-in is, that's kind of where I'm hanging out, but not necessarily just sitting there the whole time, kind of floating.
Keep an eye on the course.
Yeah, just watching the course. Listening is key as well. I mean, if there's screaming or anything, that's not a good sign, but it could be an ace. So it's good to keep up with that too. But just making yourself available so that people know you're not just hiding in your little shack or under your table or whatever you're doing.
Yeah, that's key. Don't leave the grounds.
Yeah, but that you're available.
Be available.
Because there will be rules questions.
Yep.
I don't think I've run a tournament where there wasn't at least 1 or 2 questions during the round where they came to a tee pad or a basket that was, within voice range of Tournament Central, and they said, "Hey, Jacob, can we do this?" Or what's the ruling here? I've never had a tournament where that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So making yourself available is key. But yeah, you do get to take a deep breath once that tee off starts. You get to relax a little bit, and honestly, it's fun to sit back and watch people play for a little bit. It's a good time.
Yeah.
So we finished the first round, and you get to the break. We're talking 2-round tournament here.
Yep. During
the break, things get a little bit hectic.
They do. We talked last week about the importance of making sure you have a good signal. Because one of the things you're going to need to be doing is getting the scorecards organized for round 2.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have a reliable signal, that could be
very detrimental.
Very frustrating and very time consuming. So yeah, you know, depending on layouts and courses and how these 2 rounds are going, you might have to collect some CTP flags. You might have to, if we're playing at Shore Acres, there's 2 different sets of baskets. We might be switching the baskets. So you've got to run out there and make sure that you're covering the baskets that are not going to be in use.
Or completely pulling pins in some cases.
Pulling pins, yeah, exactly. And getting the scorecards ready. Making sure that by the time people get back from their lunch break, that they know where they're going.
And you have a set tee time for the round 2. So generally after the last card gets turned in from round 1, general rule is an hour.
Yep.
Till the next round starts. So that tee time should be posted. It should be written on something at check-in table, but it should also be posted online if you have that ability, or on the registration page on Disc Golf Scene, whatever the case may be, just so people have multiple
it's a very common way to do
it.
it is to go make a comment on the Disc Golf Scene tournament page to let everybody know what the tee time for round 2 is.
The last thing you want is somebody rolling up 2 minutes late and they're taking penalty strokes because they didn't know when they were teeing off.
Yeah.
You want to avoid that situation if you can. Obviously, there's still people that aren't going to pay attention, but
100%.
Do your due diligence to try and avoid that if you can.
Mm-hmm.
The other part of that is that the tee time that you set, like you said, Josh, you should have those cards ready to go, not at that tee time, because they need to walk to their hole.
They need to get 15, 20 minutes.
15, 20 minutes before that tee time is when you should have everything done. So if you're looking at it as you have an hour, or they have an hour for lunch before they tee again, you have 40 minutes max to get your stuff in a row.
Yep.
It's a little bit of time pressure.
It is. But the other reason you want that stuff ready is because, again, as people are coming back from lunch, there might be other questions. You can't be over here worrying about scorecards and trying to field questions, and you can't do everything. So, yeah, make sure all that's taken care of before everybody gets back and starts looking.
Get your ducks in a row. If you're organized, the time during the actual tournament will be very simple.
Yeah, nobody likes disorderly ducks.
What a guy. All right. So that pretty much wraps up Tourney Talk for today.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an organization thing. It's a timing thing. And
and hopefully by now you've got everything organized.
Yeah.
So that this can go smoothly from player meeting to payout.
Mm-hmm. So next week we'll wrap it up with payouts, awards, and cleanup, and that'll be it. So tune in for that. All right, the main event for today, Reed Friskira. Oh, as Josh strips down for you guys here. Reed Friskira is joining us via the Freshwood phone line. He's been with Discraft for several years.
He has.
And he's giving us, just like Vanessa did a couple of weeks ago, an exclusive sponsorship announcement.
Can't wait.
Here on Caddy Chat. Reed, thank you so much for joining us. How's it going?
Oh, yeah. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. Josh, go ahead and take it away with question number 1.
Yeah, question number 1, Reed. How was your year for 2022? What kind of tournaments were you playing, and how do you think you fared overall?
So as far as 2022 goes, wasn't very good. I was wrapping up some family circumstances, so wasn't able to play as many events as I would have liked to. But towards the latter end of the season, I started playing a little better, I thought, and starting to tighten things up. I was doing a little more practice, and yeah, I had a pretty decent finish. I can't complain. I went to a playoff with Luke Taylor at the Northern Michigan Championship, and that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
He's a cool kid, so yeah. But I mean, it was okay. Looking forward to doing a little bit better next year, playing a few more events, and making some moves.
So you mentioned about, kind of gaining momentum there toward the end of the season in 2022. And really putting in the work to get there, I think, is important. Talk about the work that you were putting in toward the end of the season when you had more time, more availability to do that. What was the difference, and kind of what specifically are you doing to get better?
I mean, honestly, with anything, you just got to practice in order to stay good. And a lot of the top pros are, practicing hours and hours a day. So in order for an individual to reach that level or reach a level that is adequate for performance, you just got to be putting in a lot of practice. So a lot of field work, a lot of putting drills, and just basically more time on the practice field it's what it's going to take, really. And just keeping up with the drills and making sure you're mixing things up as well. And it's always good to practice situations where there's a little bit of pressure, so to say. I mean, there's no real pressure that can compare to tournament pressure, I would say. So you would definitely need to, like, I don't know, play a few more smaller events before you start playing the bigger ones and kind of get yourself in the mindset.
And so, along those lines, do you have any coming up in the next couple of weeks or the next month before the season kicks off? Some smaller events to get yourself going?
You know, I should be, but uh, with being in Michigan, it's a little cold here, so I'm not the biggest fan of playing in the snow. So playing a few leagues, doing some putting leagues. So yeah, I mean, hopefully that'll help. But yeah, we'll see how she goes. I'll have to hit the ground pretty hard here in a few weeks when the season starts up.
So transferring kind of to more sponsorship specific stuff, since that's what the people are here to hear. Um, what brought you to Discraft so many years ago? You were with Latitude 64. What brought you to Discraft in the first place?
Well, being a Michigander, they're also a company from Michigan, so I always held them in high regard. And playing all these amateur events in Michigan, you see all these pros who are sponsored by Discraft and stuff. Just like I'm not gonna say any names, but there's a lot of good Discraft pros in Michigan. For example, I guess Jeff Bennett, he was always ripping it up when I was like an amateur, so I thought that was pretty cool. I saw Greg Barsby in Michigan one time, so I mean, being a Michigan company, I just thought, it'd be great to be sponsored by him. Just had the factory right, a few hours away from home and visit it. So I thought that was cool. And the guys who run the operations there are pretty cool guys. So yeah.
Yeah, nice.
What about Discraft was most important to you? I guess not just Discraft necessarily, but even going back to past sponsorships. What about that sponsorship player relationship is most important to you?
I mean, I would have to say, I mean, can you rephrase that?
What's the most important thing for you as a player that you look for in a sponsor, I guess, would be how I would
Well,
rephrase that.
in a sponsor, important to have. Uh, it's important for you to represent them well, and it's important for them to kind of put your name out there. So I find that to be kind of very important. When you're playing for them, they should be putting your name out there a little bit, and then you should be just spreading their plastic to the world, the edges of the earth. So I would say that's probably the most important aspect of the relationship, just like a mutual support.
I like it. Yeah, nice two-way relationship.
Yeah, it's important. So that brings us to the big question that everybody's dying to know. Josh and I are both dying to know. Where's Reed Friskira going in 2023?
That's a good question. Are you sure you guys are ready for this?
I'm not sure that I'm ready.
Yeah, it depends on the answer.
All right. Well, I'm going to.
I think we lost him.
Okay.
That was
well, hopefully we'll get him back on.
That was about the worst point to lose somebody during an interview.
Yeah. Classic Reed.
Yeah, he just disappeared on us. So we'll have to wait a couple minutes, hopefully.
Oh, what's up, boys?
Holy cow!
How we doing?
We're great.
How you doing?
He joins us live.
Let me just. You guys have a nice set here.
Thanks.
I like it.
Thanks for joining us.
Oh yeah, thanks.
You had me worried there for a second that we weren't going to find out where you were going.
Yeah, we were a little nervous that we lost you there.
Yeah. So, tell you guys the truth, I'm going to another Michigan company by the name of Essential Discs.
Essential Discs. Local Michigan company.
Yep. They started out about 10 years ago. They got their first disc in production called the Honey. And it's a pretty decent disc, and the owner's a great guy, so I'm looking forward to working together and
nice,
helping grow the pure Michigan experience.
How does something like that work? Did they approach you? Did you approach them saying that you were interested in maybe working together? How'd that go?
Well, I approached them towards the end of the season. So given 2022, I didn't have a really great season, didn't play very many events. So I was like, well, I probably can't hit up like a super ton of companies, but I'll hit up a few and see what happens. Because for the touring pros, typically what they'll do is they'll shop around towards the latter end of the year and see all the offers they can get, and then kind of make decisions from there. So, got an offer with Essential Discs, and it's pretty opportune. And looking forward to making some magic happen with them.
Now, is a lot of that still under wraps, or can you tell us anything about the deal?
Yeah.
I can't spread too much information, but I can tell you Essential Discs will be running a few events similar to kind of like a one disc challenge event. We'll be running those nationally, kind of sort of following along with the tour. And we'll be getting honeys in everybody's hands.
Nice.
So we talked about the honey a couple of times now. Does Essential Disc have anything else?
Just the honey right now. Currently, they're working on doing a Kickstarter to get, I think, 7 more molds in. So 6 or 7, yeah. They're looking for a mold that's kind of similar to like a T-bird, I guess you could say.
Okay.
And then a very, very straight flying mid that'll flip up pretty nice. They're looking to get one of those. And,
Just looking to round out the selection a little bit. They've got a putter. They want some mids, some fairways.
Yeah, kind of
Maybe a distance driver.
Put some meat on the bones.
Put some meat on the bones.
Yeah,
I like that. I'm excited to see how that goes. I've thrown the honey before.
So have I. We've all thrown it. I wonder why. Well, let's segue into our next segment.
Disc of the month.
Disc of the month. What do you think it is?
I don't know, but it sounds pretty sweet.
It's the Essential Disc honey.
Essential honey. Do we have one?
Yeah,
we don't have one. We'll put a logo right there. We'll put a graphic. So yeah, the Essential honey. It's 4303.
Yeah, 4303. Yep.
4303.
Yeah.
It's a putter, and it's a very overstable putter. So we went out to the field this weekend. We'll have this on Freshwood's YouTube channel, hopefully in the next few days.
Yeah,
the full
disc
review.
Yep.
But in the meantime, you can see us probably down here somewhere throwing it. Over here? I don't know, somewhere down here. You're going to throw a couple shots, right? Or you're going to show a couple of shots?
It's all backwards for us on here, so.
Oh yeah, that's why I couldn't remember which way it went. Somewhere down there. So yeah, we threw it compared to, let's see, we threw
other overstable
approach, putter approach, so pigs, zones,
and a
gator.
Yeah.
And I found it to be pretty similar to my pigs.
So before Reed says anything, because obviously he's gonna hype this disc up, since he's throwing it. But what was your opinion of the honey?
My opinion was, and again, this was one that had been thrown quite a bit already. It wasn't a brand new honey, and it was still very solidly overstable.
Yes.
So I really appreciated that. I love my pigs and gators, and having a disc for that distance that is reliably overstable, it is always a great disc to have in your bag. I liked it.
Yeah, I think that's important.
It was reliable.
And like you said, it was beat. The one we threw was not beat to smithereens, but it had been used.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as the Jawbreaker zone.
Whoa.
It was Reed's honey.
I dropped it twice on the ground. That was it.
Was it a brand new disc?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
But it was very overstable, and it was the one we threw was the baseline plastic. They have the carbon plastic. That's their baseline.
And yeah, they have it in the diamond as well, but the carbon is the baseline.
Yeah, so that's what we were throwing.
Yep.
And the one thing that stuck out to me immediately after picking it up was it's stiff. Really stiff. And we threw it on a cold day, but I'm holding your pig. Was it R Pro pig is what you had? Holding your pig, I'm holding my Jawbreaker zone, and they've both got more give than the honey. So I think the stiffness is worth mentioning.
Sure.
Not that that's a bad thing by any means, but it's worth mentioning to somebody who's curious about the honey.
Yeah.
Rim size, what did it
I actually
feel
loved
like?
it. I did. I was a little bit surprised by the fact that, I mean, I love my pigs. You know that. I've got a bunch of them. There's always more than one in my bag. But I actually like the way the honey felt in my hand better. It fit my hand better. Now, I got kind of small hands.
Is it shallower than your pig?
It is shallower. And it doesn't have that ridge around it like pigs do. It's not quite a groove track, but I mean, it's got a pretty hefty ridge on it. And yeah, the honey just fit really well in my hand. So yeah, it's thinner. It's not as wide.
Would you, if the pig didn't exist, would you put it in your bag?
Yes.
Okay. The pig does exist. Would you put it in your bag?
I'm going to put it in my bag.
Okay. So it made that much of an impression on you?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know.
What about you? Are you going to put one in your bag?
I'm not going to put one in my bag.
Discraft fanboy.
Unbelievable.
No, it has nothing to do with not being discraft.
Your knees are a little dirty, bro.
Oh my goodness. The reason for me that it's not making the bag is it's not glidey at all. And that was
but that's the benefit of it.
No, that's fair. Like if
My
that's
pigs
what
aren't
someone's
gliding.
looking for,
Yeah.
all for it. I'm not gonna talk down the disc at all. I'm not gonna say don't get it. It's just not making my
Not
bag.
a place in your bag for it.
Yeah, my approach discs, I like to be able to snap up and glide and do lots of different maneuvers with them.
Mhm.
I don't think it's doing anything other than just dumping out. So it's consistent, and it doesn't have a ton of glide. So if that's what you're looking for, fantastic. That's just not what I was looking for.
Mhm.
So,
It has 3 glide.
but like we talked about, is glide really a thing? No, we haven't talked about that.
We'll
really.
talk about. We'll pretended to talk about it. We'll talk about it someday, maybe.
We will get there soon.
Yeah.
All right, that's my review of the honey. Josh, we heard your thoughts. All right, the sponsored man. What does he have to say?
So,
The best disc ever made.
Go ahead.
were you looking at my
I
script?
looked at
bro?
your notes.
Gosh. No, I think the honey's a great disc. Very similar to, I mean, I guess all the discs that we tested out there in the field. It does have reduced glide. However, that is a huge benefit when it's very windy out, because we all know glidey stuff kind of lets the wind take hold of it and take her off to Oz. So the low glide is great. Flat top is great. A lot of these are puddle top. So, I mean, good feel in the hand for forehand players. I'm definitely going to be planning on using it a lot for forehands. Probably just forehand approaches, anything inside 250. But yeah, just windy days, and if you don't want much skip, she's not going to skip for you. So I'm definitely going to be putting it in my bag.
Well, I would hope so.
Oh, good.
I mean,
Good.
they are working with you, so
I'm sure they're happy to hear that too.
that's important. Yeah,
Yeah.
Essential Desks is cheering right now that you're putting the honey in your bag.
They're loving it.
Big relief for them.
It's all coming together.
All right, so that's our disc of the month.
Yeah.
The Essential Disc Honey. Go check it out.
Full review will be on Freshwood's YouTube
Well-
channel.
We'll throw a link in the description to Freshwood's channel as well. But go buy a honey.
Yeah.
Go to essentialdisc.com. No, is that what it is?
Yeah, right here.
Right there. Okay. Go check them out. Go help Reed out too. Right?
Help us all out.
Essential-discs.com.
Essential-disc.com.
What's
That's
that?
a mouthful. Okay. Go there.
Go there.
All right, last thing to wrap up the show, we've got the logo game. We hiked it up at the beginning, and now we're here.
Here we are.
Reed has joined us, so he's going to be playing as well. And let's see if you can beat Josh again.
Yeah, we'll see.
And can Josh beat his score from
Can
last
Josh
time?
beat me again?
So we've got 10 logos, and
Okay.
we'll talk about them, and we'll see what you get.
Okay.
All right. So logo number 1, what are we looking at?
That's just an ink blot drawing, man.
Is
Ink
that my
blot
dad?
drawing.
No, I'm gonna guess Anthony Barella. It looks like AB. Are there any other ABs on tour?
Probably a bunch that we don't know about.
They're all gonna be mad at me now.
I mean, we just talked about Austin Bates. He's playing in the MPO division.
Ooh.
I don't know an Austin. I don't think I know Austin Bates, but if I did know an Austin Bates, I feel like he would do something like that.
Yeah,
It's
that kind
gotta
of looks
be.
like something he'd do.
Unless you're just trying to throw us off the scent.
That's what I figured. It's either trying to give us a hint or
Okay,
trying to
so
throw
if
us
somebody's
off.
not watching this, they're just listening on Spotify, for example. We're looking at what seems to resemble an A and a B next to each other in kind of a triangle formation, like a snakehead looking thing.
Oh yeah, that was a snakehead. I thought maybe that was a whale.
I thought it was a bomb, like a little rocket coming in.
Oh yeah. Like a
It
little
could
sake
also
bomb
be a sake bomb, kind
coming
of
down through the A and the B.
going into the bunker.
But now you got me thinking about snakes.
So whoever's logo
Who's
this
the
is,
snakiest player out there?
a little snake charmer.
A little AB snake. Greg Barsby. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I've never seen that one before.
All right, so Reed's gonna lock in his guess first. Reed, what are you saying?
I'll just go Austin Bates. Maybe you were trying to be nice to us and
Alright.
prep us heads
Yeah,
after
no, that's
all.
what I was gonna say too.
Yeah.
That's my best guess.
Austin Bates for both of you?
Yeah,
If you're dropping hints, that's all I
Alright.
can go on.
that's all I can do.
As you guys at home have probably already figured out, it is Anthony Barella.
That's the first thing I said. I get
should've
points
stuck
for
with it.
that.
All right, logo number 2. What are we looking at here?
EV7.
Looks like a bunch of triangles
Or a bunch of
sideways.
sevens. Yeah.
They're not connected.
No. Is that Vanessa Van Dyken's new logo?
No, dude.
It's missing a D if it's Vanessa's.
Well,
Yeah.
that could be like a D.
I guess you're right. Yeah, all of them stacked together kind of make a D.
Mm-hmm.
That
see
doesn't
it.
look like a D at all. What do you mean?
I
You
don't
kind
know.
of see it.
7.
Or it could be 3 carrots.
Steven. Ooh. Carrot Top.
It's good. That's very disc golf related. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going with. I gotta
Simeon
go.
Schultz.
Okay.
Are these only players?
This is disc golf logos.
Okay.
Oh, EV7. I thought it had
I'm
to be
going.
a player too.
I'm going EV7.
All right, EV7.
Yep.
Final answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff, guys. You're 1 for 2. All right, logo number 3.
Is that Kyle Klein?
It's got to be Kyle Klein, right?
It's 2. It's a backwards K and then another K, and they're encircled. I'm going with Kyle Klein.
All right, quick and easy. You're locking in.
Locked.
All right, Kyle Klein, 2 for 3.
Castoplast.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and you're not watching video, it's the Castoplast logo.
Oh my god.
No, it's I'm sorry. It's a big bold letter K in a circle with stripy lines.
Wait,
It's Castoplast.
I thought you guys showed these on the screen, right?
We will. Yeah. They
They're
will.
on there.
But some people might be listening on Spotify.
Oh yeah.
We got
Is that what you think it is too?
Feeling pretty
Yeah.
good.
All right,
Castoplast. Locking
good
it
stuff.
in.
I gave you an easy one in the middle for sure. All right, next up.
Thanks for the easy one. So this looks like it looks like a circle with an X through it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to describe it.
Um,
A messy circle
and
with a messy
then,
X.
Yeah, a little graffiti-ish looking.
All black, as they all have been.
That's true. They have all been X out. Hugs and kisses.
Any
You know what
thoughts,
it is?
Reed?
Yeah.
You know what it is?
Yeah. I'm not
All
gonna
right,
say
so
anything until you guys.
Reed's
know.
pretty confident, so we're gonna let Josh lock in first.
I've guessed first every time. I think it's
All
our
right.
turn to
Yeah, but
guess
no, but
first.
if he's confident, you're just gonna steal his, you're gonna
Maybe-
steal his
Maybe
thing.
I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm
No,
gonna say.
don't say
okay.
it.
I'm gonna say pro discus.
That did not help Josh at all.
100% pro discus. It's gotta be unless somebody stole. Unless somebody's using the same logo.
Oxford ox milk.
All right,
That's my
Oxford
guess.
ox milk is correct. No, it is Pro Discus.
Okay.
Good job, Reed. All right, next up.
Birdie disc golf. So it's a circle with a B, but the bottom half of the B is offset with a little eyeball in the middle that makes it look like a bird. And I believe that's
Oh
Birdie
yeah,
Disc Golf.
dude, I just saw that.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
actually
show
a pretty cool logo.
It is.
It is
Very
Birdie Disc
clever.
Golf.
Tactful.
Very nice.
It's simple, but it's very nice. I enjoy it. All right, next up.
That looks kind of like a check mark. No, it's a star. No, I'm sorry, it's Prodigy. It's a star with a disc.
He was teasing you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty easy.
I'm going with Prodigy.
We're locking in
I
with
shouldn't have
Prodigy.
said that before Reed guessed.
Yeah, because now...
Now he's just
Well,
going to steal
you
my
should've
answer.
made him
Like he's done
guess
the last
first.
5.
I actually didn't know this one, but I'm gonna go with Prodigy.
Let's see. I get the points for that one.
All right. What are we looking at here? Describe it for us.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it looks like a maple leaf maybe with a disc golf basket in the middle. The maple leaf is half blue, half red with a yellow flag on top. Disc golf basket is black and white in the center. Is that the logo for Maple Hills Disc Golf?
All right,
It is.
You're pretty convinced, Reed?
I'm telling you, it is.
I've never seen that before. That's just my
It's
guess.
gotta be.
Okay. Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, you got it. Good job. Maple Hill.
Thank you. Oh, that's RVID. Is that yours? RV.
That's me.
No, I think that's Rovic, right?
What do you think,
Isn't the
Reed?
RV 1D the Rovic
Reed's
part
just
that I
stealing.
actually
Reed is
own?
just stealing
I know,
all of
it's
your
Rovic.
answers.
Except for that one, Pro Discus.
Discus.
Yeah, that's Rovic, right?
Definitely aerobic.
Final answer?
Yeah. What's with all the Regis Philbin treatment, man? Are you sure?
All right, it was Rovic. Next up.
Simon Lazat, his old logo, because it's got the Disc Mania shield behind it.
Oh yeah.
So it's an S with an L and some
Wings.
wings, yeah, like a Crush Boy would do, with a Discmania shield behind it. I'm going with Simon Lazat.
You think he'll keep the shield?
No.
I think this logo is done, and I think if you watch one of his videos, he mentions that Discmania owns all his logos.
Ooh.
That is unfortunate.
For him.
That's tough.
Super fortunate for them. Yeah, Simon Lazat. Final answer.
Good stuff. Is that the only one? Is that the last one?
That must
Yes,
be
it
the
is.
last one.
All right, so 9 for 10
It's not bad.
Yeah, pretty good.
with teamwork.
It could have been 10 for 10.
Which one did we miss?
The when Jacob was trying to snake charm
The
us.
first one.
Oh,
You missed
yeah.
Anthony
No,
Barella.
I kind of got that one because that was my very first
No,
guess. First thing I said when I saw it was Anthony Barella. And then you tried to snake charm us away from that answer. So
All right.
pretty good, pretty good. We did pretty good. That's all that counts.
You did have a buddy.
Yeah.
You would not have gotten Pro Discus,
No, I would not have.
but Reed was here, so he scores a 9 out of 10 instead of an 8 out of 10.
That's Team Freshwood, baby.
That's good stuff. So hopefully you guys at home beat 9 out of 10.
Yeah, or
Let us know in the comments. Did you get the AB one that they missed? We'd be curious to find out.
Yeah.
That wraps up the
Let us
show
know.
for today. What should they be looking for next week when they tune in?
So next week we're gonna have I think it'll be the final tourney talk. Maybe there'll be one more kind of recap or wrap up after that.
We might do a recap.
But we're gonna talk about payouts and awards and cleanup, etc. And the rest of the show is a bit of a surprise. No, we've got a preview for the Shelley Sharp that's coming up.
Yeah.
Shop.
And you can actually, the disc golf guy put out some coverage in the last week or two of that course, showing some MP40 coverage of an event going on out there. So you could see Pete Ulibarri play the course and Shasta Chris.
It's the same course down in Scottsdale that they play every
Sure,
year. So
it is. Yeah, I mean, you could go back and watch that too. But if you want something fresh, you can watch Brinster, watch him tear it up. We're going to have a rule of the month next month. And then some bold predictions for 2023.
and we kind of
Every one of them will be bold.
we teased that last week a little bit.
See what we can do.
So stay tuned for that. We've got some thoughts.
Yeah.
And some predictions.
Lots of them.
Reed Friskira win Worlds.
Yeah.
Bold.
If you
Or
guys,
is that too bold?
if you guys put
No, it's
even
not
$1
too
on
bold.
that, you'll be millionaires.
Right?
Sure.
It's going to be
Just
big.
letting everybody know.
It's going to be huge.
Can we guess that you ace in Worlds with the honey?
Ooh, baby.
There's a chance. I hope they have some short holes. Where's Worlds next year?
Worlds next year.
Virginia.
This year. No, Worlds this year is Green Mountain Championship. It's replacing that, so it's Vermont.
In Vermont.
Yeah, maybe there's a lot of long holes. I'll have to learn how to throw a putter 600 before then.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
It's possible.
It's a bold prediction.
It's really
a very
bold.
bold prediction.
It might even be too bold. But
maybe. Is there such a thing?
we'll see.
We'll see.
All right, so tune in next week. Thanks for joining us this week for our 10th episode. We will see you for week 11. Thanks again for Reed
Yeah, thanks, Reed.
joining
Thanks,
us.
guys, for having me.
We appreciate it. We'll double handshake. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, share, comment, subscribe. We've really loved the feedback lately. Keep it going. And we'll see you next week. And until then, keep your head in the game.